Gamers. Microsoft changed console gaming by launching the original Xbox with a built-in Ethernet jack in November 2001. A move Sony wouldn't follow until the PlayStation 2 Slim received an embedded Ethernet port in 2004. The American-based console manufacturer also shifted the state of things with the introduction of Xbox Live and Halo Combat Evolve's robust online offering. But Sony took its share of unique multiplayer-related strides upon investing heavily in Zipper Interactive and the genre-defining SOCOM franchise. Thus, though it lagged behind in terms of network services, the PlayStation brand doubled down on innovating in the software department. Nowhere was this more apparent than in 2010's MAG. The Zipper-developed massive action game once held the Guinness World Record for most players online in a console FPS, courtesy of its ability to simultaneously host a then unprecedented 256 users. Above all else, MAG emphasized teamwork, which Zipper underscored with an inventive command structure that brought a sense of order to the expansive online conflicts. The intricate leveling system additionally proved impressive for the time, as did the relatively minimal server hiccups. MAG struggled out of the gate in some respects, however, due to a lack of map variety, balancing issues, clunky controls, and a faulty spawn system. Zipper addressed most of the shooter's shortcomings across several post-launch patches, ensuring the multiplayer title matured into a PS3 favorite. Yet MAG's online-only status ultimately culminated in its downfall, a slippery slope that began during the infamous PlayStation Network outage of 2011. This is the tragedy of MAG. Sony acquired Zipper Interactive in 2006 following the Washington State-based studio's years of success in developing the SOCOM IP. A third-person tactical shooter series, 2002's SOCOM marked the Japanese corporation's first real foray into multiplayer. The game and its subsequent installments proved an integral part of PlayStation's early online victories, regarded among the best multiplayer experiences consoles had to offer. Zipper decided to push the envelope further when transitioning from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 development. Producer Alan Van Slyke told Engadget, the team spent its first 18 months on PS3 assembling core technologies, a renderer, and a new toolchain. As such, quite a bit of time passed before building an actual game became a regular facet of the production cycle. But fortunately, Sony equipped the console with built-in Wi-Fi and an onboard friends and messaging system, enabling Zipper to efficiently focus on driving their technology forward as it did when introducing tactical shooters on PlayStation 2. The crew's newest advancement arrived in the form of MAG's 256 players, all divided into 8-member units. According to Van Slyke, the 256 figure didn't constitute an arbitrary number. Rather, the decision spawned out of design, early thinking derived from Zipper's goal of crafting something that could replicate the scale of a real battle. Developers then devised ways of achieving their ambitions, adding in organized groups, platoon leaders, and an officer in charge, or OIC, who communicated with leaders to coordinate actions on the battlefield. In speaking with Now Gamer ahead of launch, production director Tony Ayappa revealed that MAG as a title entered the mix organically as well. It started as an acronym, Massive Action Game, which perfectly characterized the project and acted as a reminder for Zipper to prioritize scale and action. Van Slyke later elaborated further, disclosing that users and international territories felt pleased with the working title. Thus, Zipper settled on what worked, especially since MAG already boasted an established history. Not everything fell into place with ease, though. Zipper Interactive considered the lessons learned from years of SOCOM development invaluable to MAG's creation. Still, the group faced new challenges and, as a result, hired personnel with complementary strengths that could help overcome the myriad obstacles. Map making provided one such trouble spot, given the sheer scope of MAG's environments as well as the number of objects littered throughout them. In taking all of this into consideration, the production crew realized its conventional design philosophies wouldn't work. Starting from scratch seemed the best course of action and required an exorbitant amount of stress testing. But the 100-plus in-house staffers were not enough to truly assess MAG's online stability and potential limitations. In turn, the team contrived creative testing techniques early on, one of which involved using employees from other studios in Sony's first-party stable to fill up matches. MAG also demanded more beta testing than previous Zipper-developed projects, particularly because of the high player counts. Technology and development techniques comprised only a handful of the SOCOM-related systems Zipper set aside while crafting its massive action game. Military authenticity took a backseat in favor of targeting the believability of a near-future shooter, for example. In pursuit of just a semblance of realism, however, the studio made sure MAG's battle tactics followed long-practice standards. Company hierarchies similarly remained true to life. And the developers, some of whom had military backgrounds themselves, consulted with Spec Ops soldiers to guarantee in-game operations aligned with modern military themes. Interestingly, even MAG's core structure evolved beyond the gameplay pillars most associated with SOCOM. This wasn't solely informed by Zipper's shift to first-person either, a decision Tony Iuppa said the team settled on after looking at both third- and first-person perspectives, only to find the latter more conducive to player immersion. MAG borrowed heavily from shooters, of course, yet Zipper additionally embedded influences from real-time strategy titles and MMOs. Iuppa explained the RTS genre's interplay between different squads with different skills and objectives fit perfectly in a larger-scale shooter. Meanwhile, MMO elements such as community tools and faction rivalries made sense for the action-oriented property. Zipper still approached MAG from an action-first standpoint, with no intention of creating an experience that played like a clumsy amalgamation of three disparate genres. At the time, the crew assumed no one wanted to scour a massive map for resources in an action game. Instead, the developer hoped to augment the FPS genre by crafting a persistent struggle between three factions, meaningful community tools, and battlefields that emphasized coordinated attacks. Simply put, Zipper seemed way ahead of the game, an observation that sadly got lost to time, not unlike MAG itself. At the tail end of Sony's E3 2008 press conference, the publisher unveiled the then tentatively titled Massive Action Game, or MAG. Host Jack Tretton, PlayStation's now former CEO and president, touted the multiplayer project as a workout even for the PS3 architecture that wasn't remotely possible anywhere else. Game designer Andy Bodwin also took the stage, describing MAG as an intense and long-lasting shooter experience. The game's post-launch support showed both Sony and Zipper had every intention of delivering on that bold promise. Following a release bolstered by favorable reviews and positive word of mouth in January 2010, Zipper set to work on first delivering the necessary fixes and enhancements. The studio deployed MAG version 1.03 in late February, referring to the changes as dramatic, since the patch rebalanced every weapon, repaired numerous bugs, fixed a respawn loop glitch, and fine-tuned certain aspects of the leveling system. A litany of other patches and free content updates rolled out during MAG's first year on the market, including a 2.0 update that introduced PlayStation Move support and an overhauled skill tree. To a degree, MAG gave console players a taste of what developers and publishers would eventually term the live service or games-as-a-service content model. And impressively, Zipper Interactive's support of the persistent online title never wavered, despite concurrent production of SOCOM 4 siphoning studio resources for a single-player campaign and multiplayer suite. Yet the fourth mainline SOCOM entry played no part in MAG's slow descent throughout its second year. The blame instead fell upon the untimely PSN hack.
This isn't the first time that I've come to the stage at an E3 press conference with an elephant in the room. And of course, I'm referring to the PlayStation Network outage. And this is the first opportunity for me to...
The hack on Sony's PlayStation Network service occurred in the spring of 2011, between April 17th and April 19th. Due to the extent of the intrusion, the corporation suspended its online services on April 20th. Over 77 million PSP and PS3 users were affected, their data and other sensitive information compromised by a breach that cost Sony Corp an estimated $171 million. This figure covered expenses for compensating players with free welcome back offerings, strengthening network security, and the potential cost of future profit losses caused by the attack. Sony began restoring parts of the service on May 14th, more than 3 weeks after the initial shutdown. In some cases, though, irreparable damage had already taken hold. 3 major AAA titles hit store shelves the week of the PSN outage: Portal 2, Mortal Kombat 9, and SOCOM 4. All featured significant online components. Only one suffered the sting of Sony's down network. At the very least, SOCOM faithful had the single-player campaign to fall back on, whereas MAG's always-online status left fans with nothing to do except move on. Zipper unfortunately had very little time to salvage either of its fledgling projects. Within 5 days of the PlayStation Network's return, a reported 33 staffers at the Washington-headquartered studio were made redundant, laid off in what Sony cited as a normal business practice and a result of cutting back on production resources. The death knell didn't seem to ring at that juncture, though. After all, June 2011's PS Plus games for European subscribers included SOCOM Special Forces and MAG. And Zipper continued to support the latter as the year pressed on, even while producing Unit 13 for the PlayStation Vita, an underrated tactical shooter that unexpectedly became the team's swan song. A Kotaku report in March 2012 claimed sources familiar with Zipper Interactive's operations expected a full studio closure, based on the scope of a new round of layoffs and a project cancellation. Sony refused to comment at the time, but confirmed the shutdown 1 week later in a statement to Game Informer. Thus, Zipper's approximately 80 employees were laid off as the result of a resource realignment within Sony Worldwide Studios. The publisher maintained the online servers for MAG and multiple SOCOM titles until late in January 2014, giving fans plenty of time to explore each game's respective multiplayer suite, to a certain extent at least. An entire generation of gamers never experienced SOCOM, never felt the thrill of tactically commanding a squad through well-designed environments, teeming with combat encounters requiring patience and thoughtfulness. PlayStation's limited backward compatibility solution guarantees younger audiences will struggle to get their hands on Zipper's genre-defining shooter series, yet it won't be impossible. MAG, however, has remained unplayable for more than half a decade. And it's a shame considering how online play for consoles has evolved in Zipper's absence. The tragedy then lies not only in that the massive action game was ahead of its time. With the benefit of hindsight, there's reason to believe MAG could have stood toe-to-toe with the likes of Rainbow Six Siege and PUBG if Sony had just held on for a little while longer. Thank you for watching. We'd like to take this time to thank, by name, the generous patrons who have pledged to our Hall of Fame reward tier: Caleb Shishkevich, Fernando Lopez Ojeda, Maktoum Saeed Al Maktoum, Paul Cousineau, and those currently subscribed to our producer reward tier: Darirab Sigurdsson, EmuMovies.com, Lame Game Man, Milkshake, Schizo Lingvo. If you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing to our channel and backing us on Patreon.